It's hard to believe it's 30 years old and we're back where it all began. Say happy birthday to World's Strongest Man 2007. Welcome to California, the state that hosted the very first World's Strongest Man way back in 1977. It's a place that's changed a lot in recent years, but just like the competition, some key facts remain the same. It's loud, it's uncompromising, and it's very, very big. From the beautiful winelands of the Napa Valley in the north, to the beautiful sands of San Diego just a few miles from the Mexican border in the south. It's home to surfing in the USA, and it's home to one of the most exclusive and expensive shopping streets in the world. It's home to a film industry that has dominated world cinema for nearly a century. It's home to some of the most beautiful and iconic deserts on the planet. We start this year's tournament in Anaheim, 30 miles south of Los Angeles, and as any child will tell you, home to some of the world's most famous amusement parks. Playtime is over for 30 of the world's strongest men. And few men in this competition's history have been as strong as this guy. Poland's Mariusz Pudzianowski may not be the reigning champion anymore, but there's little doubt that he remains the man to beat here in California. The USA's Phil Pfister won the title in the most dramatic circumstances in Sanya, China in 2006. Now the Dominator wants revenge in the champion's own backyard. Can any of these men stand up to the man many consider to be the greatest strongman of all time? Pudzianowski joins the fight in Heat 4, but this is a battle 30 years in the making. Taking you through all the action are your commentators Colin Bryce and first, Nick Halling.
Thank you, Martin, and what a way to start the medley. 75-second time limit, of course. The course is over 32 metres. You've got to do the old farmer's walk bit first of all, carry that 265-pound anvil, and then deal with those barrels. Here's the big fella, Dominique Filiu, the Canadian, checking in these days at around 450 pounds. And Russia's strongest man, Elbrus Nigmatulin.
Take your position!
And off we go, and it's the little fella, relatively speaking, Elbrus, that's made the fastest start, but Dominic is now starting to catch up. And this should be relatively simple for Dominic because it's about getting a grip. Those things are half full of water. The guy with the longest arms is going to get the best purchase on it.
Well, that first one's a little bit lighter, around about 100 kilos. This, 110, so fatigue and a heavier weight. But look at Dominic, no problem for Filiu.
Oh!
Finish up right.
Yeah, it's got to stand up, so that's going to take a few seconds off. Just lost it at the end there, but Elbrus is having all sorts of problems with it, and those relatively shorter arms look like they might be defeating the big Russian. There it is. We're calling it 110 kilos, 245 pounds. Whichever way you measure it, it equals heavy.
Yeah, around about 18 stone in old money, but look at the way it sloshes around his legs. He's like a drunken man there.
And that's the problem, isn't it? It's moving around, so the weight is distributing all over the place, and it just takes control. Elbrus finally getting through, but Dominic Filiu and those long arms of his, that was a huge advantage, 30.29. And as for Elbrus, 51.83 is his time.
Well, it might be very early in the morning, but the chalk just running out there on Filiu. I wonder if those few seconds will cost him.
And in lane one, it's Starmo Mitch from Estonia.
Been here, done it.
Darren Sadler from the UK.
From Boroughbridge in North Yorkshire. Diminutive of stature, but if they measured these guys on heart, well, Darren Sadler would be a winner every time. And speaking of winners, there's the defending champion, Phil Pfister, the former fireman from West Virginia, carrying an injured back, we hear. Let's see if that's going to affect him here. Well, it's the little fella, Darren Sadler, that's made the fast start, but these barrels might really cause Darren some problems. He doesn't have the longest arms, but he's certainly making short work of this first one, and he's got the lead over these two big fellas. This is terrific stuff from Sadler. Now, can he keep it going with this second barrel? The other two have both caught up with him. Pfister's making his move, and Sadler is struggling. It wasn't to be. It couldn't last. The two big boys ripped it up and it was neck and neck.
Oh, poor Darren struggling there. He just can't get the grip. Those extra 10 kilos make all the difference.
Darren, you have to carry it.
He has to carry it as well. You can hear the referee shouting and just gets it over.
Oh, that was such a shame. So close. A decent time. That'll put him in 4th place, but it could have been so much better, and I wonder if he put too much in early on that allowed Pfister and Mitt to just blow by him on that second barrel.
Well, I'm interested to see who was faster there. Oh, Mitt was just pipped. I think he was over the line first, but he didn't lay it down quick enough.
Yeah, there's Darren and his problems. And then it's a race for the big fellas. Pfister's got a decent lead, but Mitt is storming up, and it really was a photo finish.
No real surprise in the first event then, but how costly could that back injury be for Phil Pfister? Yorkshire's Darren Sadler struggling in an event not suited to the shorter men. After the break, Sadler will have a chance to make up for his disappointment. Up next, it's the Fingals Fingers. Welcome back to the 30th World's Strongest Man competition here in sunny California. Now, before the break, you saw Darren Sadler struggle with those immensely heavy barrels. Will he fare any better now in another event which suits the taller competitors? To give you the lowdown, we brought in not one, but two former winners of this title. Here's Sven Karlsson.
Well, thanks, Martin. Fingals Finger. Classic strongman event. 5 giant metal pulls to be turned over at the fastest possible time. The last one, 300 kilo. Nobody seems to be able to beat Phil Pfister in this event. I'm here with 3 times world's strongest man, Bill Kazmaier. Why do you think it's so?
Well, Phil Pfister is a modern-day strongman Superman. He's powerful from head to toe. And did you see the way his hands are built? He plays with the fingers.
Let's see if my predictions are right.
Well, the fingers, they go up in weight, and you've got to turn them in 75 seconds. But before we flip those fingers, let's meet our muscle men.
Phil Pfister. USA.
Darren Sadler. England.
Dominique Filiou. Canada.
Эльбрус Нигматуллин. Russia.
Tarmo Mitt. Estonia.
Five of the strongest men in the world. I wonder who the weakest link is out of that group. Maybe these fingers will help us find out. Well, Elbrus Nigmatulin, he was the first to go. Sometimes it's an advantage to be on your own. Sometimes, though, you need someone pacing alongside you. And Elbrus, well, he did all 5 in a pretty decent time.
In lane 1, Tarmo Mitt from Estonia. Lane 2, Darren Sadler from England.
With the world's strongest man, it's not so much you can go to the gym now and again and eat good food. It's a case of it's a lifestyle. To be at the top level, you've got to live your life around it. You've got to train every day. You've got to make sure you eat right. Obviously, there's a big sacrifice in there, so let's hope it's worth it this year. Obviously, I'm a lot smaller than a lot of the other guys, but it plays its parts in disadvantage and advantage. You know, it makes me a little bit quicker on certain things. Then again, some of the things with body weight, like truck pull and things like that, you need more body weight to be able to pull the trucks. But it evens itself out, you know. It takes its toll on your sort of personal life going out and things like that, but you have to just do what you can when you can, and everything's got to be planned around the strongman, unfortunately. But that's one of the commitments that you make to the sport, I suppose. I think if one of us lot from Britain could win it, I think it'd liven it up in Britain because you'd get a lot more TV coverage and make it more of a, prime time sport. I think this year the groups are very, very harder than any other year because there's so many guys on a good level. So yeah, it's going to be difficult to qualify. But last year I learned that during the competition anything could happen. In our group, you went from first to last in one event, you know. There's a hell of a lot of luck involved in it as well as strength.
So, it's the little and large show. Trouble is for Darren Sadler, every time he goes up against anybody, he's the little guy. But as I say, if they measured him on heart... Now, the trick is, keep the feet moving and try and keep your hands on those fingers. Anytime it drops onto the shoulder, you're really struggling. It's about momentum as much as anything. Meat's got a slight lead here, but Sadler's tucked in just behind him.
Tomo's using his body weight very well there. You've got to keep straight arms. Oh, Tomo went for a bent arm, and it's given Darren a chance.
It certainly has. One little stumble from the Estonian, and that's put Sadler in front. Now, that could prove to be costly. Can they turn the fifth finger? Nigmatulin managed it, and it's neck and neck again. Who's going to get the first turn? I think it's Sadler by a whisker. What a great effort from the man from Boroughbridge. Tremendous stuff from Darren Sadler, and one little slip was all it took. Tarmo Meat would wish he could have that back. It's cost him the heat.
Well, Tarmo Meat now in third place. Nigmatulin ahead of him as well, and this was meant to be one of Darren's bad events. Let's hope he keeps this up in his good ones.
Did you think it was possible to catch Tarmo after he was leading after the first fingers here?
He moved in front, and obviously when the fourth one went over and I was slightly quicker, I thought it was all to go down to the fifth one, and the fifth one felt easier than the fourth one, thankfully, because I had a bit more drive about me because he was shadowing me all the time. So I think it was quite good that I was up against him because he pushed me very hard and it was very close, but thankfully I got it. I needed the points.
Ladies and gentlemen, in lane one, Dominique Filiou from Quebec, Canada.
So here's Big Dominic. And up against the reigning champ.
Phil Pfister from
Man
the
with the dodgy
United
back.
States of America.
Doesn't seem to be too much wrong with it in the medley. Maximum points. And they know they've got to be fast. This field is very good. So it's not just a question of turning over the fingers, it's doing it in speed. At the time, 41.22, and it's Filiou that's made the little technical mistake there. He tried to pick up that second finger too quick and never picked it up at all.
Just totally missed it. What a mistake to do as well. Now Pfister's capitalising here. He's got the world record in this. This is really a banker for him.
It really is, isn't it? And he's got a lot of time left, and that 41.22 is in some danger here. Pfister is going to destroy it by a best part of 10 seconds. Wow. Now, where does Filiou finish? And there's little Grimace. That back could yet be an issue, you know. And there's a man who's not very happy with himself. Talking of bad backs, Filiou wish he could have that second finger back. Made a total mess of it, didn't he?
Well, Phil Pfister's 32.29 is excellent, though. 40.3. Dominic would have wanted 30, 32, 33s there. Look at the mistake. Just came in and totally missed it.
It actually doesn't cost him. He's going to be second whatever.
You were 1 second slower than last year. What happened?
My back's a little banged up, you know. Hopefully I'll save myself a little bit in this qualifier and then have big war in final, so.
Will we see a time under 30 seconds for the final?
Have to wait and check it out. I don't know.
Good job.
Phil Pfister living up to his reputation as one of the best in the world at Fingal's Fingers. Darren Sadler will be delighted with third. Tarmo Meat will be very unhappy with a surprising last place. Maximum points for Pfister, and he doesn't even look in top gear yet. Darren Sadler is beginning to move up the leaderboard. He'll be desperate to make the final after just missing out in 2006. This is the Silver Bullet, one of the biggest adrenaline buzzes here at Knott's Berry Farm. It's big, it's fast, it's terrifying, not unlike Phil Pfister. Now, while I enjoy the delights of one of the biggest and best amusement parks in the world, Sven Karlsson is actually having to work for a living. Sven, tell us all about the next event.
Herculeson, 160 kilo, trying to tear you apart. The guys have to hold, and pain is unbelievable. A good time here will be around a minute. No, I'm done with this.
Well, Sven always makes it look easy, but I can assure you it's not. Those pillars weigh 350 pounds each, and they tear you apart. It's as much mind over matter in this one. You try and got to block out the pain. That's what Dominique Filiu is doing here. But those pillars just won't let it, and sooner or later your grip just gives up, and when you hit empty, there is nothing less. 24.55 for the Canadian.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the United States of America, the current World's Strongest Man title holder, Phil Pfister.
So here's Phil Pfister, gingerly walking up to these pillars. We know he's got a back problem, Colin. How much effect do you think that will have in this event?
Nothing at all, really. This is all about grip strength, and really it's more about mind strength. And I remember Phil Pfister back in Zambia a number of years ago, holding on for a full minute. At that time it was the world record, and at the end of that he started screaming and saying, "I'll be the world's strongest man one day." Well, he's not shouting yet.
Well, that came to pass, but no, he won't be shouting, as you say. But so much of this is not between the arms, it's between the ears. You've just got to block out the pain that turns into agony. He's not getting the times called out either, and I think that's a smart move. So often the referee will call out how long it's gone in 10-second increments. And Pfister, I think, is just saying to himself, I'm holding this. Look at that. This is unbelievable stuff. The time, Phil Pfister, is 58.07. That was amazing. And that was as much for the other guys in this field as for the crowd.
Unbelievable. That's just as good as we've seen. The only man who can beat him is maybe Tarmo Mitt.
So, Phil, you definitely own this event, but actually, what did you say?
I don't know. You know, 6 years ago, I made a bit of a speech, and actually, when I did that 6 years ago, it got easier as I spoke. So I was actually just trying an old trick. It was getting heavy and getting tough. So I started talking, and it got a little easier for a little while, but I couldn't hold it anymore. And that's actually the time that I did much easier 6 years ago. So I would have hoped to have gone a bit longer, but I'm happy with this. I hope it holds up. Tarmo's really good in this event, so I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, from England, Darren Sadler.
Tarmo Mitt capable of a minute plus, and with Pfister at 58 seconds. This is going to be a tall order for Darren Sadler to get decent points here. Darren's wife in the crowd here in Anaheim looking on in the morning sunshine of Southern California. Now, is Darren going to be California dreaming, or is that dream going to turn into a nightmare as the Pillars of Hercules attempt to tear him in half? The body language is good, an air of serenity on his face, but you watch any second now, that body is going to start feeling the strain.
You can see they're watching on. They're nervous about Darren. He's a wild card, Darren. He can do amazing things.
It's struggling. You can see the blood rushing to the head now. Yeah, 32. He gets past Filiu, but I think Darren knows that a top two finish here is probably going to be beyond him, especially with Tarmo Mitt to come. Just shares a little joke there with Phil.
Well, I think Sadler did fairly well there. He doesn't have the biggest of hands, and there really are quite chunky handles to hold on to.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Estonia, Tarmo Mitt.
Well, we've got two battles going on, haven't we? We've got Elbrus Nigmatulin to come, and we'll see if he beats Darren Sadler into third place. But the main event is right here. Tarmo Mitt, who has done a minute 10 on the pillars, needs to beat 58.07 to take maximum points here in Anaheim. And knowing what competitors all these guys are, he'll know exactly what he's got to beat.
10.
And there's the call, 10 seconds. I wonder if Mitt, once he gets to a minute, and I wouldn't bet against him getting to 60 seconds, I wonder if he'll just let the pillars go right there, because there'll be nothing to be gained for trying to push it.
Oh, you bet he will, yeah. He's not going to go for heroics here. That time he did over 1 minute 10. It was in the final, 2005 World's Strongest Man in China, and, well, he needed points then, but he doesn't need any more than a minute. Oh, he's not doing well, though.
Yeah, you see a wobble around the 30 seconds, you know you're starting to suffer. And now it's interesting, and there's 40, and the clock must be crawling at the moment. Pfister looking on. Is 58.07 going to be good enough? It must seem like an hour away at the moment.
He's not comfortable at all.
Oh, well, you saw the wobble at around 30 seconds, and you thought there's no way he's getting to a minute here. And so it came to pass. Tarmo Mitt goes into second place and is probably bitterly disappointed with that.
Well, I think maybe he had a bit of cramp in his lower back and it just twisted him up.
49 seconds, ladies and gentlemen.
Still not a bad time, though.
Yes, but he'll be disappointed. And once you see that first little wobble in the body, you know that the clock is ticking.
From Russia, Elbrus Nigmatulin.
So this is the private battle for third spot here, although I'm sure the Russian won't see it that way. If he wants to push Darren Sadler down the order, he's got to break 32.73. But the next target after that is Mitt's 52.49, and I don't think he's going to get that far. In fact, looking at his face, he may struggle to get 30 here.
Well, he didn't look comfortable at all right from the beginning, almost too stretched out right from the start. Normally you get just a little flex as the clock starts and you take the strain, as it were, but he was right at his limit. Oh, his face is all screwed up and so's the body. He's standing squint now.
Well, he's got past Filiu, but 32.73 is his next target. And this is a good effort. Well, that's terrific from Elbrus, because he looked like he had no chance. He'll take that. He's knocked Sadler down to fourth, and with only 2 to go through to the final, that could be a hugely significant point for Elbrus Nigmatulin.
Well, I don't know where he got those last few seconds from. You can see it, his fingers were opening at about 28 seconds, and he still managed to get another 10.
Phil Pfister is making this look very easy at the moment. That little speech helping the champion to yet another 5 points. A valiant effort from Darren Sadler is only good enough for fourth. It doesn't look like anyone can stop the reigning champion, but the race for second position is wide open. Tarmo Mitt just 1 point ahead of Dominic Filiu. Darren Sadler is also within striking distance. 2 events gone and things are going to plan for champion Pfister. There's a chasing pack hot on his heels, with England's Darren Sadler fighting all the way. To see if Yorkshire's pride can force his way into a qualifying position, join us after the break for the deadlift. Welcome back to Knott's Berry Farm. Now, before the break, we saw Darren Sadler almost torn in half by the Hercules hold, and despite a phenomenal effort, he could only manage third place and must make a big impact in the next event. With all the details, here is 2001's World's Strongest Man, Sven Karlsson.
The purest test of back strength, the deadlift, starting off at 265 kilo, 7 reps all the way up to 345. Fastest time win.
It's as simple as that. Roll out the barrel and keep lifting them. It sounds easy, it isn't, because it's all about more weight being added.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Sadler.
And it's normally a pretty good event for Darren Sadler. This is an event he excels at. This is when you don't need those long arms and that long back. If you're compact, you've got a better chance of success. And it's all about speed, momentum, rhythm. 7 reps is what you need.
He's not hanging around, is he? He's gone for 3 very fast. And, well, some years 3-4 barrels could be enough to win it. Some years they do all 7. It's so hard to judge.
Well, that 4th one seemed a bit difficult for Darren, and the 5th one is even harder. Well, he's done 5. A very quick time for 5 as well, it has to be said. But now he's really taking his time, and looking at him, that 5th one seemed to be pretty much his limit. It's going to take a Herculean effort here, and no, he's not going to do it. You could see it. That fifth one put him right on the edge. It's a fast time, but anybody who gets 6 barrels automatically will beat that.
25.37 for the 5. That's pretty good, but just hit the wall on the 6th. And he was lucky to finish that 5th one.
You're struggling now. Do you think you will reach final?
After everybody's been in this event, then I'll know, because this was very important for me.
Wow.
So if I can get a good score in this event, then I'll have a good chance. But if these lads all beat me, no chance.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elbrus Nigmatulin from Russia.
Well, Elbrus has got to do some work. He's the strong man of this group in that he's propping up all the rest, and that's not where you want to be. And he's capable of more, that's for sure. Darren Sadler with 5 in a quick time. Let's see what Elbrus can do here.
But he's a man who never used to have a good back. 3-4 years ago, this would have been a terrible event. I think he'd have struggled to get that first weight up, but he's a guy who works at his weaknesses. Here we go for number 4. Well, he's got to do 25 seconds for the 5 to put Sadler under pressure.
And I don't think he's going to do that. No, he's just outside that, but if he gets a 6th one here, that doesn't matter. And so far he's looked compact. So far he's been lifting within himself, and he's done it again. And that's pushed him past Sadler, and it's all about timing. Now, a 7th one here really will put the cat among the pigeons. Surely not. No, but 6 for Elbrus. And as you say, Colin, that's not his event. He'll be very pleased.
Great stuff for Nigmatulin. He even got the 7th one a few inches off the ground there, and that's a huge weight, up over 340 kilos. Nigmatulin's really done his homework. Well, this could well be the winning lift.
Well, looking at it purely from a British interest, this is not good news.
Tarmo Mitt from Estonia.
Not with Tarmo Mitt to come, not with Phil Pfister to come, and Dominic Filiu, you never quite know what you're going to get with him, but it's not looking too clever for Darren at the moment.
Well, remember, Pfister has the dodgy back, doesn't he? Oh, how easy was that for Tarmo Mitt? It's like a couple of shopping bags being lifted off the floor there. I think Tarmo will beat the 5 reps of Sadler here.
Well, here comes rep number 4. And very fast as well, 25.37 he's got to do. And he's going to do it comfortably. Yes, he's beaten Darren Sadler, he knows it. There's another one. And this isn't looking good for him. One of Darren's better events. Tarmo, in the meantime, presses on, 6th. The 6th barrel, and I think that's faster than Elbrus. But the 7th, no, I don't think the 7th is going to be anywhere near him, but unless I've got my timings wrong, I think that puts Tarmo Mitt into the lead, and indeed it does, 33.82. Good point you made about Phil Pfister and his back problem, though, Colin. Normally you'd expect him to be amongst the contenders here, but this from Mitt might be good enough for maximum points.
Well, I think you're right. There's a good chance this will be the winning lift, but Phil Pfister's a very special man. He could pull it out the bag here if he wants to.
The biggest thing I felt after winning World's Strongest Man was a sense of relief. It's great when you finally get to the goal or the destination you're seeking in life. But people who achieve great things will tell you that, you know, the greatest part was the journey and getting there. In the 2006 final, I knew that it would come down to myself and Marius on the stones. I knew it would be a hell of a fight between the two of us. Each time I'd load a stone, I heard Marius' stones going up just a split second before mine every time. And I knew none of that stuff mattered. The only thing that mattered was the last stone.
Nothing between them here. Look at this. They're both to the 5th stone.
And I'd lift the 5th stone and put it in the hole, and as it was going in the hole, I looked over at Marius' platform.
He's just got in front, and he's edged it!
I knew that I'd won then. You know, I don't think my work's done yet. I think there's still a lot of fight left in me, and I think I'm still very young and very healthy, and there's no reason why I can't win this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Pfister from the United States of America.
And he's got points in the bank. And this is all about back strength. And when you've got a bad back, why would you risk injuring it? Well, maybe he just wants to see what he can do. Just test that back, and if he feels any kind of pain at all, bail out on this event. He's certainly taking it slow and steady, and that's sensible.
Interesting style right at the bottom. He's bending all the way over. And that's it. Is that it? It is.
Well, I'm a bit surprised at that, because why would you even attempt 3? You get nothing for 3. You're still in last place. You might as well have just passed on that event.
Well, 1 lift gets him a point. 3 lifts gives him a bit of confidence maybe for the final.
Phil, it looks like there's a little strategy going on there. Do you want to tell us about it?
Well, I needed to do at least 1 lift to get a point, but I want to try to save myself for the final, and I'm confident on the next 2 events, so pretty confident about making it through to the final. So just trying to save the back.
How hard are you going to go at the last 2 events?
Probably at least 90%, you know, maybe a bit more. You know, it's important to do well with both of those because they're both in the final, the last 2 events.
Good luck.
Thanks, Bill.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dominique Filiou from Quebec, Canada.
Now, Filiou needs to go really well here in order to try and put some pressure on Tarmo Meet ahead of him. He can gain on Pfister, but if he can do 6 in under 33.82, he can take maximum points here. And a chance to really challenge for one of those top 2 places, and he's going really slow and steady.
Down! Almost too slow. I don't quite understand his tactics here. Filiou often gets his tactics wrong. Just look at the size of him. This man should be winning World's Strongest Man. He's come 3rd before a few years ago.
Well, he's actually below Darren Sadler here. He'll need another rep. He'll need this rep just to move ahead of Darren Sadler. So unless he thinks he's going to get all 7, he's got this completely wrong tactically. This is a huge gamble from the Canadian, and it looks like it might backfire horribly on him. It has. Well, that was a surprise. He gets past Pfister, because Pfister only had 3. But Filiou will have to settle for 4th place. And that's a major miscalculation.
The victory for Tarmo Mitt as Phil Pfister makes a tactical decision to protect his back. Darren Sadler will be disappointed at 3rd place. The deadlift is an event that he usually does well in. Well, he said that if he didn't get a good result, he'd have no chance, and Sadler may well be correct. Tarmo Mitt is looking a strong favourite to accompany Phil Pfister into the final. Well, Darren Sadler may be down, but a competitor as brave as him never gives up. In fact, the Yorkshireman would have made an ideal prospector. Strong, courageous, tenacious, ideal qualities when risking all in search of gold. Now, when you find your gold, where do you keep it? Well, in a safe, of course. And what else do you do with a safe? Well, you lift it above your head. What else is there? Here's Sven Karlsson with all the details on the next event.
Thank you, Martin. Now the safe lift. The athletes have to lift these 115 kilo safes overhead as many times as possible within the 75-second time limit. It's going to be very hard because it's not the weight that's the problem, it's the balance.
Yes, that really is the problem. It's about keeping control of those safes, because if they start swinging around, you've got no chance. They might as well be filled with gold, even if it is fool's gold. That's the only stuff Martin can find.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dominique Filiou from Quebec, Canada.
Well, here's nobody's fool. Not that anyone's going to call him that to his face. Dominique Filiou. But Dominic needs to make a move here.
Take your grip.
It's not been a good competition for him at all, and that 4th place in the last event really has hurt him. Let's see what he can do here. He's on his own as well, and oh dear. Well, this is a poor start.
You know, Nick, I don't want to bang on about it, but size isn't always an indicator of strength, but he truly is enormous. He's 450 pounds. The man weighs over 30 stone, and most of it's muscle. But just look at him, he can't coordinate it somehow. Dominic Filiou really should be the world's strongest man, in my opinion, when it comes to just sheer power, but something goes wrong.
Is it technique or is it mental?
Well, I just don't know. I mean, Bill Kazmar, I've spoken to him a few times about it, and he agrees. Look at the size of the man. He should be 3 times world's strongest man, he said a few times. I mean, He's phenomenally big and powerful.
Yeah, the potential is there. And it has to be said, he's settled down after that very, very unconvincing start. And it's not an easy event, this. It's an event that you can look bad in, because once those things start moving around, it's very hard to control. And 7 reps is not bad. The clock continues to tick, and he's getting it going. But isn't this typical Dominic? He made that awful start, and you thought, hello, he's going to get nothing here, and now he's putting it all together.
Well, I mean, I do know he suffers from incredible nerves, Dominic. Seems amazing, someone that size, but he gets terrified on the big stage. He's a real gym hero. He does world records in his gym at home. But 8 reps, well, we'll see how good that is in a minute or two.
The big fella wilts in the glare of the spotlight, does he? Well, let's hope for all of us.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elbrus Nikhmatulin from Russia.
Yes, tucked in the slipstream of the leading 2.
Phil Pfister from the United States of America.
Bad back and all, still number 1 in this heat. Remember, only the top 2 to go through. And 8 is the target from Dominic Filiu. Filiu, who made that awful start, but then got it together. But both these fellas will be thinking, you know what, this needs double figures, and that's a good start from Pfister. Got the long arms, though, and maybe that's something that causes a problem with this event. We certainly saw it early on with Filiu getting control problems, but there doesn't seem to be any control issues for the American.
No, and I think true champions step up in competition as well. And Phil Pfister's the kind of guy who'll pull out 25%, maybe more, at the World's Strongest Man than he's ever done in the gym. Look at this, 7 already for Pfister. This is great stuff.
How much more does Pfister put into this? I mean, you look at the great tacticians, and obviously Mariusz Pudzianowski is the masterclass of that, but how much does Pfister need to do to make sure he's in the top 2?
Well, you know, Pfister's, he's no mug, and he's certainly very experienced. He's equally as experienced as Pudzianowski, if not more so. And I guess with experience comes a cool head in competition. He knows what he needs to do. He's not going to lose his cool. Look at this, 14 reps. This is incredible with this weight.
I guess he's just carrying on until he feels comfortable. Nikhmatulin's done enough to push himself past Filiu, and Pfister, I think, is starting to look at this and say, you know what, I've done enough here.
Well, he just wants to put out a big score, perhaps. Pudzianowski and everyone's back in the tent there watching. He's just making a statement.
And that was tough for Nikhmatulin there. He nearly made double figures, but the officials looked at him and said, no, you did not extend the arms on that 10th lift.
Well, this is an event for the final, so Pfister, he's laid down the gauntlet for all the other heats and all the other guys to see. He's definitely on form. His back might not be there, but his shoulders are.
Matulin will have to wait anxiously now. Yeah, this was tough. Look, so close. And I don't think they gave it to him. But that, fully extension. The elbows locked.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Sadler from England.
You really do. He hates the nickname Pocket Rocket, but when you put him up, literally stand him up next to some of these fellas. I mean, he does look a man among boys, doesn't he, Darren Sadler? But appearances can be very deceptive. Sadler, though, needs a big score here to keep in contention.
Yeah, what Darren's got, though, is great athleticism. He's very explosive. I'm sure he'd have been a fantastic rugby player or even a sprinter if he'd have chosen that as his field. But so too is Tom Omid. He's an Olympic lifter. He doesn't look like a stereotypical athlete, but that's what he comes from, an explosive background, cleaning and jerking.
This is, I think Tom Omid just had one taken off him there, but this is an event. I mean, it's almost like a battle within a battle here. Sadler, to have any chance at all of reaching the top 2's got to beat Mitt here, and he's not going to do it.
He's hit the wall, hasn't he?
Totally. He's lost the balance. They've come apart. He's had to adjust that, and I don't think there's any more than 7. And this is catastrophic for Sadler. I mean, even Filiu's got 8.
Well, Tom Omid, with this performance, could well propel himself into the final.
Yeah, the safes have come off the pad for Sadler. That's a key one. That draws him level for Mitt, and that could put him in front. It does. Maximum points for Tom Omid, and I think that's going to be good enough, regardless of the Atlas Stones. And Sadler's going to have to look at the clock to see if he's beaten Dominic Filiu. But Tom Omid has the smile of a man who knows he's booked his place in the final.
I think Mitt was a little lucky to get that last ret, but they don't have to be pretty. They just have to be up there. He's see Sadler, he just started to wander, and those wobbling safes causing him all kinds of problems.
That was incredible. And you never done this event before, is that true?
Yeah, that's true. I was watching very carefully 2004 Worlds. I was looking for similar events, but never tested myself.
They took one rep away from you. How difficult is it to keep focus when that happens?
I don't know. I just very lucky today because I had very bad start, and it's just good gift for me today. So good experience.
Another victory for Tarmo Meet guarantees him a spot in the final, and Phil Pfister's 16 reps seals the final berth that looked odds-on from the very first event. Darren Sadler will have to go back to the drawing board. Pfister and Meet qualify with one event to spare and will be among the favourites in the final. Darren Sadler must now look ahead to the 2008 competition. We have our finalists, but Darren Sadler will be going out all guns blazing. Coming up, it's the Atlas Stones. Welcome back to World's Strongest Man. Here's Sven again with details of the final event.
Well, thank you, Martin. Now we're down at the last event of the qualifier, the Atlas Stone, the ultimate strongman event, the classic strongman event. I'm standing here with 3 times World's Strongest Man, Bill Kazmaier. What's the difference this year?
Well, it's face-to-face, mano a mano. You can see exactly what's going on. You no longer have to look out of the corner of your eye to see who's ahead and where you're at.
Let's see who wants it the most.
Well, it really is what strongman is all about. But this is with a twist. You actually get to see your opponent and see what he's doing. The stones, of course, get heavier. The plinths get shorter. But it's still a question of who's got the long arms, who's got the strong arms. Phil Pfister, already safely through, decided, you know what, let's just do one stone and get out of town.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dominique Filiou from Quebec, Canada.
Yep, these two fellas battling for pride, really.
Darren Sadler from England.
And it's the light stone first of all, but Darren's got to get full elevation because his lack of inches hurt him here, because that plinth is pretty high.
Oh yeah, it's well over 6 foot high. Darren's wearing shoes with a bit of a platform heel on them, about 2-3 inches extra, just to give him a boost for that first platform. He's over that now. He's maybe a second or 2 behind, but he could catch this up.
Filiou making mincemeat of the first 4, nearly lost it, and it must go on that plinth. If that rolls over, you've got to go back and retrieve it.
He lifted the first and the 5th, absolutely equal there. I can't believe how easy he made the 5th stone look.
It goes back to what we were saying, doesn't it, Colin? The man's potential is vast.
Unbelievable.
And they both finish all 5. They finish with heads held high. But as far as this year's strongman is concerned, well, it's back to the drawing board.
Great time there for Filiou as well.
Not bad for Darren.
Just amazing. He's picking them up like little marbles. As for Sadler, it's a good finish for Sadler. He'll be proud of this.
But neither can catch Tarmo Meet.
From Russia.
Let's see if Elbrus can hold on to 3rd place. Tarmo Meet, of course, has got the chance to finish as the #1 qualifier here because of Pfister's tactical decision to take it easy with his back. I mean, it really is ridiculous that Pfister can almost take 2 events off and still qualify with ease. I mean, if that back's 100% for the final, then watch out everybody else. You could have a successful defence of this title.
Absolutely, and these weren't easy guys either. This wasn't an easy route for him. People were saying this could be the group of death, as it were, with Tarmo Meet, Nick Matulin, Filiou all on form, and look at that.
He's done it as well, hasn't he? Look at that. He's actually taken top spot, the Estonian. Good times all the way round.
I think it's time for a 6th stone, isn't it?
It really is.
Maybe a 7th, actually.
Make those things heavier. Get those plinths taller. These guys are making this look too easy.
Well, Nick Matulin just falling behind there in the end. Tarmo's height just giving him the extra bit.
So Termo, you are at final again in World's Strongest Man 2007. What's your goal this year?
I go as high as possible, and I'm gonna show for everybody how much I left from me inside.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Well, I'm sure Tarmo knew what he meant, but that victory confirms him as one of the favourites for the final. Again, Phil Pfister plays the tactical game. Tom Omid is the winner of Group 1, but the real job for both him and Pfister was simply to qualify for the final. Darren Sadler will be bitterly disappointed after such an impressive debut in 2006. Congratulations then to Phil Pfister and Tarmo Omid. They'll be amongst the favourites in 5 days' time when the top 10 from qualifying battle it out for the big prize. Join us next time for Heat 2 of World's Strongest Man when Mark Westerby, the giant farmer from York, enters the fray. Until then, it's goodbye from Anaheim.
Coming up, a man who shoots first and asks questions later, even if he just wants directions to the supermarket. Clint Eastwood stars in The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. Coming up next.